I'm your edgy English teacher. Today is, March 1st, 2025. It's a pretty nice, it's warming up in New York. It's around 52, 53 degrees. The sun is coming out, and as you know, in New York, when it gets hot, the clothes come off. Yeah, so today I wanted to talk to you about why I think we need to have single-sex classrooms. Why I believe we need to have single-sex classrooms. I think it's a good idea. I think it fosters learning in young people. So I wanted to start with an anecdote, right? Literally yesterday, I had this very belligerent, obnoxious, loud, disruptive young lady, right? Ninth grader. And she would say snide remarks to me. She would talk under her breath. She wasn't following instructions. And she even said to me, "You're not teaching." And so, those are like, not fighting words, but, they get under your skin, right? You're not teaching. And I could say, well, I've been teaching for a long time in my head. But I didn't answer her. I just thought about it. And I said, what if she's right? In other words, what if what I'm teaching is not what she needs to learn at that particular time? What if what I'm teaching is not necessarily the message, but the messenger, right? In other words, I might have a good message, which is all to do with English, but as a man, maybe she needs to hear it from a woman, a female. And so I started to think, which I have been for a long time, that we need to have single-sex classrooms, right? In New York City, around the world. I know certain countries, that's the norm. But I think there's a strong argument to be made why we need them. So the arguments I'm presenting are primarily based on my experience, right? I've been teaching for 23 years. I love my job. Despite the many, let's just say, difficulties, right? I still do love my job. So what I've been observing in the classroom, number one is, the sexual dynamic, right? So you have boys. I have 9th grade boys, 7th grade boys. They're primarily focused on impressing the young ladies, right? And so they will, talk loud, be obnoxious, get easily distracted, all for the attention of the female gaze, right? And so that is a huge factor, right? That sexual dynamic between boys and girls. Hormones are raising, and it goes both ways, right? The girls are also easily distracted by the boys. And so for me as a teacher, I spend, significant amount of time just dealing with, kids who are not focused, kids who want to talk. And when I listen into what they're talking about, it's who likes who and who don't like who and who broke up with who, everything sexual. So imagine if you're in a classroom where all boys. That dynamic, that sexual male-female dynamic is immediately vanquished. It's immediately distinguished, or extinguished rather, right? So there you have it. Without that polarity of male and female, it's clear that the boys can focus. And even if you look at, let's say, sports, right? Boys are extremely focused. Even girls in girls sports, they're extremely focused, right? I've seen my boys on the basketball team, and they can do 1,000 drills or whatever the coach wants, because why? It's all boys. That same masculine energy, and so they can do the job. But when it comes into the classroom and you mix these two energies, the male and the feminine, the masculine and the feminine, it's like, let's say, a cocktail for explosions. So, another reason why I think we need single-sex classrooms is learning styles. So back to this young lady, right? She was upset. She's belligerent. And I thought to myself, perhaps, just perhaps, playing devil's advocate, perhaps her style of learning doesn't fit my model of teaching, right? Perhaps I tend to give more, a lot of stories, a lot of anecdotes. I like to teach by giving life lessons that I have, dealt with. So perhaps her style of learning might be different. So what does that mean practically? So females, from the research I have found, tend to be auditory and primarily language-based learners, right? They like to read information. They like to hear information. That's their primary mode of learning, right? As opposed to the boys, according to the research, they tend to be more logic-based. Of course, these are broad generalizations, but they tend to be more logic-based. Boys tend to do better in math. Boys tend to be better in physical learning, right? They tend to be able to sit less. And I've seen this in the classroom, right? Boys want to get up, they want to walk around. They have more energy, I guess more testosterone as well. So that other aspect is the learning styles, right? Girls can sit longer, generally speaking, as opposed to boys who are more active. So the third reason why I believe we should have single-sex classrooms are social, emotional needs between the sexes, between young men and young women. Social, emotional needs, right? Take a look. Take example. Females, right? Young females. They have, they're more emotional on the whole. They're more. They have their monthly menstrual cycle, right? Their hormonal patterns, estrogen, is different than males. So you bring that into the classroom, and we never address it. It causes, different distractions. As opposed to boys, they're dealing primarily with testosterone, right? They're not as emotional as girls. They're more, boys tend to be more competitive as opposed to girls who are more cooperative in terms of learning styles, right? So these are some of the reasons why girls and boys are different. I wanted to talk about also this idea of learning styles, because I've looked at some of the research, and what I have found is that girls tend to be more egalitarian, by which I mean if there's a game, everyone participates, everyone wins. There are no losers in girls' game, the research shows. As opposed to boys, they want clear winners. They're very highly competitive. They want clear winners and clear losers. So you bring this into the academic environment, and we're left with, this friction, so to speak. So these are the arguments, right? What are we going to do about it? We need to start having these conversations and start making these things a priority. It doesn't necessarily have to be all classes, maybe just the primary classes, English and math. There's tons of evidence that show kids tend to do better in single-sex classrooms. It's just a matter of making it a priority. So for that young girl, that young lady in my class, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Just perhaps my message more than the messenger more than the message was the issue at that point. Nevertheless, she still needs to be respectful and respect teachers. We work hard, we love what we do, and we deserve all the good things that we get. I'm your edgy English teacher. Enjoy your day. God is good. Peace.